It's a nice sunny day, so I figured why not do the video outside. So in my last video, I talked about what led up to my injury and why I'm having surgery or why I had surgery. So in this video, I want to talk about the day of the surgery. Now keep in mind, I'm already almost 2 weeks post-surgery, but I'm basically just playing a little catch-up. So the day of surgery, I had already been told that I couldn't have any food, any water, and no anti-inflammatory medications that the day of the surgery. So I think at 11:59, that was the last thing I could have orally. So I think it was 11:30 when I think I had some cereal and a banana, and that was it. I think I stayed up until about 1 o'clock in the morning, finally went to sleep, got up around 8, and I still had another 4 hours to go because my surgery was scheduled for 12 o'clock, which I don't recommend. If you can get it early in the morning, try to get it as early as possible. But it actually wasn't that bad as far as, really wanting some water, wanting some food. It wasn't that bad. But I was able to have a little bit of water for my medications. So they had also told me to wear something very comfortable. So oversized shirts, something like some sweats, some slip-on shoes. So that's basically what I did. I wore a robe. I wore my robe that I wear around the house. I wore a hoodie underneath, some sweats, and some shower shoes and some socks, and that was pretty much it. Pretty much as comfortable as I could be. And just to make a little joke about it, I took some clothes, acted like I was modeling on a catway walk or something or run walk. But yeah, I just had a little fun with it because that day I was obviously having some anxiety about getting cut into. So try to make light of the situation. Anyway, finally drove down there. Had to be there an hour early. Got there around 11. And shortly after that, after the paperwork and all that, got into the operating room. They prepped me, they did all the vitals and all that stuff. The funny thing is about me and surgery, especially when it comes to having some type of surgery where you got to get knocked out, I have more fear about being knocked out and not waking up than I do about the surgery itself. So for a long time, I had anxiety about being knocked out and not waking up. So I had written a little note to my wife who had driven me down there. Just before I was prepped and had to take off my clothes and all that stuff, I figured she would have to leave, but she was still in there. She helped me out, take everything off and all that, and I had to put my phone away. I had typed a message to her and said, hey, in case something happens, in the slim chance something happens, I just wanted to let you know that marrying you was the best decision I ever made. Something along those lines, very romantic, a little melodramatic, but I figured I wanted to do that in case something happens. My plan was that she was going to read it after she left, but she was still in the room, and her phone buzzed, and she picked it up, and she read it. The first sentence, she started bawling. She didn't even finish reading the whole thing. She just started bawling and hugged me and all this and that. Yeah, a little dramatic, I know, but that's how I was feeling at the time. But anyway, once we got past that, she left. They did a nerve block, which I do recommend. From what I understand, it helps with localizing the injury and numbing that area, and it makes it to where you don't have to put as much, or the doctor doesn't put as much anesthesia in you during the operation. So definitely investigate a nerve block. I definitely recommend that. So they did a nerve block. They did it locally, right around the area where they're going to do the surgery. That area became numb. They wheeled me into the room. Anesthesiologist. So this is after I talked to the doctor who was going to do the surgery and the anesthesiologist and the nurses. They were basically prepping me and all that, which is standard. Finally rolled me into the room. The anesthesiologist gave me what's called happy juice. I was basically staring at the ceiling, just waiting for whatever was going to happen. And that's all I remember. After he said that, I think it was like 10 seconds, I was out. About 4 hours later, I later found out, that's when I woke up. The surgery was scheduled for 2 hours, but I woke up about 4 hours later. Excuse the noise, there's a motorcycle behind me. But yeah, I woke up about 4 hours later, and from what I understand, the doctor, he's a perfectionist, which is fine with me. So he took his time to take care of some things at the end of the surgery, and that's why it took a little longer than expected. So woke up, I was very groggy. My wife was there, she helped me out, and after that, after about 30 minutes, I think, I was still kind of groggy, and they put me in a wheelchair, put me into the wheeled me out to the car and got me in the car, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, that was my day of the surgery. It took about 4 hours. It actually wasn't that bad. Everything after it wasn't that bad. I was groggy for a little bit, but once I got in the car and got some food in me, and we drove home, I felt okay. I had already had my medications on hand, and they basically gave me some instructions, a little bit of instructions for what I need to do within the first few days after the surgery. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So in this particular case for me, I would say the surgery went pretty good. I think it did. Well, we'll see. All right, and I'll talk about the first 2 weeks of my surgery. I was going to do a video about the first week, but it's already been almost 2 weeks, which will be in 2 more days. It'll be 2 weeks. But I'll talk about what I did the first 2 weeks of the surgery and how everything went as far as pain and medications and sleep and discomfort and all that. So I'll talk a little bit about that next video. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.